The 2025 season is finally over, and the results were a disaster. Reports just leaked that Adrian Newey isn't just designing the 2026 car, he is taking total control. This is the moment Lawrence Stroll has been paying billions for. We stand on the edge of the biggest regulation reset in Formula One history, and the stakes could not be higher for Aston Martin. After finishing a disappointing 7th in the Constructors' Championship this year, the pressure has reached a boiling point. The 2025 season was never the main target. While Fernando Alonso fought a difficult car to score just 89 points, Adrian Newey worked quietly in the shadows. He officially walked through the doors at Silverstone on March 1st, 2025, and his entire focus for the last 9 months has been on the AMR 26. This isn't just another car launch, it is the debut of the first true Newey machine built outside of the Red Bull ecosystem in nearly 2 decades. The timeline is critical because the FIA allowed teams to start aerodynamic work on the 2026 cars on January 1st, 2025. Newey arrived 2 months later as the initial concepts were taking shape, which gave him enough runway to scrap bad ideas and enforce his own philosophy before the carbon fiber was cut. Everyone wonders if he can take a midfield team and turn them into world champions overnight. The paddock buzzes with rumors that the car sitting in the Silverstone wind tunnel right now looks radically different from anything Mercedes or Ferrari have created. The biggest shock came in November. Everyone assumed Newey was there just to draw lines on paper as a managing technical partner. But the announcement that he will replace Andy Cowell as team principal for the 2026 campaign changes everything. This is unprecedented because Newey now holds the keys to the entire operation rather than just the technical department. He acts as a shareholder, a leader, and the final decision maker. It suggests that Lawrence Stroll realized the old management structure was too slow and cluttered. So he cleared the deck. By giving Newey total authority, Aston Martin has removed the political friction that often kills good engineering. Newey doesn't have to ask for permission to change a suspension layout or redirect the budget. He just does it. This level of control mirrors exactly what he had at Red Bull in the early days, and we all know the success that followed. The 2026 regulations have introduced active aerodynamics, which is an area where Newey thrives. The days of simple DRS are gone, replaced by Z mode for high downforce in corners and X mode for low drag on straights. The driver doesn't just push a button to pass. The car physically transforms its shape on every single lap as the front and rear wings move in sync to shed drag. Rumors from the simulator suggest Newey has found a way to manipulate the airflow around the narrower chassis to make this transition faster than anyone else. If the AMR 26 can switch between these modes with more stability than the competition, Alonso will have a car that is glued to the track in turns and a rocket ship on the straights. It is the kind of complex fluid dynamics puzzle that Newey solves easily. If you are excited to see what Newey builds for 2026, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we track every F1 development as it happens. Now we need to look at the engine. Aston Martin is a true works team for the first time in their history. They are no longer buying an engine off the shelf from Mercedes and fitting their chassis around it, because Honda has built the 2026 power unit specifically for this car. Honda is hungry to prove a point after being pushed out of Red Bull for Ford. The new regulations split the power 50-50 between the internal combustion engine and the electric battery, creating a massive electrical demand that requires perfect integration with the chassis to save weight. Because Honda only has one customer in Aston Martin, they can push the cooling packaging to the absolute limit without compromising for other teams. Reports indicate Honda has taken an aggressive approach with the turbo layout, allowing Newey to shrink the rear bodywork even tighter than the RB19. You cannot build a championship car in an outdated shed. For years, Aston Martin had to rent Mercedes' wind tunnel and work around their schedule, but that ended in early 2025. The new state-of-the-art tunnel at the Silverstone campus has been fully operational for almost a year now, meaning the AMR 26 is the first car developed entirely in-house with their own calibration. They don't have to load models into a van and drive them down the road anymore, since engineers can walk from their desks to the test section in 2 minutes. This rapid feedback loop allows them to test 3 or 4 times as many aerodynamic parts per week as they could in 2024. When you combine that speed with Newey's brain, the rate of development becomes terrifying for the rest of the grid. The 2026 cars are smaller, with the wheelbase slashed by 20 centimeters and the width down by 10 centimeters. They are lighter too, which plays right into Alonso's hands since he has always preferred a nimble car over a lazy boat. The real secret might be in the suspension. Newey has been experimenting with pull rod layouts at the front and push rod at the rear, flipping conventional wisdom to maximize airflow to the floor. With the removal of the MGU-H from the engine, there is less heat to manage, which means the side pods can be incredibly slim. Early leaked renders show an aggressive undercut that looks physically impossible, but the wind tunnel data says it works. This is the clean sheet design Newey has been waiting for since 2022. We cannot ignore the situation surrounding Max Verstappen. The paddock has been whispering about this for months, and the noise is getting louder. Max's contract with Red Bull runs until 2028, but performance clauses exist. With his race engineer, Giampiero Lambiase, heavily linked to a move to Aston Martin recently, the pieces are falling into place. If the AMR26 comes out of the box and dominates, while Red Bull struggles with their new Ford engine, a shock transfer for 2027 becomes very possible. Newey and Honda are already here, essentially recreating the old Red Bull Dream Team in green. Aston Martin isn't just building a car, they are building a trap to lure the best driver in the world. Finally, the manual override mode acts as the new overtaking mechanic for 2026. If a driver is close enough to the car ahead, they can deploy extra electrical power up to 337 kilometers per hour. It is a strategic weapon where the challenge lies in energy management. If you use too much battery defending on lap 10, you might be defenseless on lap 11. This system requires the car to have incredible energy recovery efficiency, and Honda claims their new battery system regenerates energy faster than the regulations even require. If that is true, Alonso will have that override button available more often than his rivals. Imagine Fernando Alonso with a tactical weapon like that. It is checkmate before the lights even go out. The hierarchy we have known for the last 4 years is dead. Red Bull is starting over with a new engine partner, while Mercedes scrambles to interpret the new aero rules and Ferrari remains unpredictable. Aston Martin is the only team that has perfectly timed their peak investment with the regulation reset. Lawrence Stroll has poured over $1 billion into this project, including the factory, the wind tunnel, the Honda deal, and Adrian Newey's £30 million salary. It was an all-in bet, where failure for the AMR26 allows no more excuses. There is no building for the future anymore, because the future is January 2026. This car will define the legacy of everyone involved. For Newey, it is a chance to prove he is bigger than Red Bull. For Alonso, it is the final shot at that third title. And for Stroll, it is about proving that money really can buy speed. The camouflage comes off in February. Until then, we can only trust the rumors and the fear in the eyes of the other team principals. 2026 isn't just a new season. It is a new era that looks like it is painted British racing green.